Hello YouTube, welcome by this first Q&A video. In the previous video I asked you for questions and you did a great job with sending in all kinds of questions. I printed all the questions and we ended up with 4 pages of questions. And I want to give you excuses in advance if I say your name wrong. Because there's a lot of difficult names in the list. So I'm gonna first answer the questions from my Patreon supporters. The first question from my Patreon supporter Martin Borovansky. What do you do for a living? I'm a truck driver. And the truck in the background of my previous video is a truck where I do my work with. And the next question of him is, have you ever considered or planning on selling hardware? And the answer is not yet. And also, are you planning on doing giveaways? Not on this moment, because I need to first figure out how I can do giveaways where the parts really end up by people that gonna use them instead of selling them on eBay. Now we're gonna go to the questions on YouTube. The first question, Gert Kracht asks, so what's your favorite meal after constructing a retro machine? Pancakes. 44CT232, what is your favorite retro build or video that you have done? My favorite retro build is, I think, the 1998 build and after that the 1991 build. I really like both of those builds. And the favorite video I have done is a little bit of a crazy video. That is how to build a perfect computer. Because I did that video with a friend and we had so much fun with making that video, but not many people like that we destroy all kinds of computer parts. But I have said to myself, I don't gonna comment on this video. All the parts that you see in the video were already broken and on their way to the dumpster. So we just had some fun with the already broken parts. The next question is from Eva Swonatska. If you had the power of God for a day, what color t-shirt would you wear? Yellow? And now a bit of a long but very interesting question. Hi, what's the computing landscape like in the Netherlands during the 80s and 90s? I asked this as Europe was not PC dominated like the US for a long time and there were hotspots of different computers such as Atari ST in Germany, Amiga in the UK, ZX and clones in Soviet countries, etc. We didn't have a computer at home in the 80s. But we started in the 90s with a Commodore 64 and later an XT and a 286. But I think in the Netherlands the Commodore 64 was really popular. And also I think the Netherlands was really PC dominated just like the US. Thanks Eva, that was a really interesting question. DMQB asks, how about your strategy against racing when you have PC problems? If you have PC problems and you start raging, just put your hands in the air, run around your house and scream as loud as you can. Also he asked, what's the worst game you ever played? I think the worst game I ever played, but still was kind of fun, is DayZ. But the problem in the game is you run around for 6 hours, you can't find any item you want, and then you have some items in after 7-8 hours and then you go somewhere that you think maybe we can get some action and then you get killed and can start again. Trapflex asks, what's your favorite PC era? My favorite PC era is where we had slot CPUs like the Pentium 3 and the AMD Athlon Slot A. Mr. Quasimojo asks, what's your favorite PC game? My favorite PC game is Hidden and Dangerous 2. I played it through for 5 times now and it's still so much fun. And it's also a really hard game, but you should really try it because it's really the best game I have ever played. The next 2 questions I gonna combine. Retro Computers asks, Victor, are you going to build a dual Pentium 2 PC with a 3DFX Voodoo 5500 in the future? And also a question from someone with a Chinese name and I used Google Translate and it made Wang out of it, so I gonna call you Wang. I hope you don't mind. Can you build a slot 2 system? In the future I gonna build a dual Pentium 3 Xeon system, so they are slot 2 CPUs, and I gonna build two variants of it. One like a 1999 system and one like a 2000 system, and the 2000 system will have a 5500. So on both questions, yes, I gonna do a dual Pentium 3 build, and yes, it will be slot 2. Just Jack asked, how would an AMD Eurasian processor do in one of your machines? I think for video editing the AMD Ryzen has a really good CPU, because it had 8 cores, it's on the same level as Intel high-end CPUs. So for video editing, great option. Asayan asks, what's your favorite coffee shop on the Canal Belt or the Old Center? I don't do drugs or smoke weed, so I don't go into the coffee shops. Daniel, where do you live? I live in the Netherlands near Amsterdam. 2459 official asks, what would you do when you win the lottery? When I win the lottery, I will travel a lot and will search for the coolest place to build my own dream home of it, including a big YouTube studio. Mr. LePessel asks, how did you become the king of 3DFX? I'm not the king of 3DFX. I think the title of king of 3DFX goes to the active members that keep the drivers alive, run the websites, stuff like that. That really helps all the users of 3DFX cards to have the right information, the drivers, etc. So that are the kings of 3DFX and not me. Also he asked how you build up your systems so they fit together, components and stuff. The most systems I build, I just check out that they are time correct, and if you build time correct systems you have a right mix of hardware, but you can always swap out some parts to older parts of some newer parts, but in the general rule just keep it a bit time correct. So a Pentium 3 500 with a GeForce 4 just don't match. But the Pentium 3 500 with a GeForce 2 or GeForce 1 is a better mix of hardware. Asasela asks, will you ever make a cat only video? Pretty please do it for me. I gonna probably end up with a cat video soon. Because I can't say no to you, I just gonna make a cat video soon for you. Envelope 91 asks, what's your favorite alcoholic beverage? I don't drink that much alcohol, but I like some good beers, but also I like Baileys on ice. Dr. Drax asks, why the video 7 kilo hammer versus flea market items? The reason that we did that video was just to have some fun and destroy stuff, but people didn't like it that much, so it was maybe a little bit of a mistake. But if I ever gonna do a video like that again, I won't include Realtek network cards in the box. Timo van Dienst asks, what's the meaning of life, Victor? I don't know what the meaning of life is, but you should read the Wikipedia page about that question, because that page is pretty long. He also asks, what's hidden in your beard? That's a secret. And he wants to know, where do babies come from? I think from eBay. And will you do my taxes? Yeah, for 500 euros an hour I can do your taxes. Dan asks, when will you shave? Dan, I will shave my beard off when your beard is longer than mine. Rapidly Aging Technology asks, what's the best OS, the worst, and what are your feelings on Windows 2000 versus XP? The best OS is for me Windows 2000. I really like that OS and I really hate that I can't use it anymore to do my daily stuff. The worst OS, I think it's Windows Millennium. But there was no reason to go to Windows Millennium, because you had Windows 98 still, which was okay to use, and you had Windows 2000, which was really great to use. My feelings between Windows 2000 and XP is, I like Windows 2000 a lot, and I never liked Windows XP because I wanted to use Windows 2000 instead of XP. And I didn't see a reason to upgrade my Windows 2000 to XP in those days. Nikolai asks, on one of your videos I saw that you work as a truck driver. With your knowledge and experience in computers, why don't you work as a computer specialist? The reason that I drive a truck is that I like to work on my own. I don't have any papers to prove companies that I have knowledge about computers or something. And I don't want to go back to school. So I just gonna work on my YouTube channel to grow it bigger so I can make it my full-time job one day. I rather go full-time on YouTube than go to an IT job where I need to solve all kinds of problems of others and stuff like that, because I don't really like that. Senior Shooters asks, I hear you had the honor of staying with international model and generals ladies man Ken Eakins. What winning tips did he give you for becoming more manly and a better athlete? Also, did you find that your beard became thicker and more manly after a few days in his presence? I really learned from Ken Eakins how to be a hipster in Brighton, and my beard was growing indeed a lot harder and all the ladies were hanging around me. So thanks Eakins. See you next time, because we're gonna do some more hipster stuff. Exploding Moons asks, are you going to be at the next hacker camp with your retro machines? Probably not. I asked around by my friends if they want to do a retro tent again, and they were all saying, nah, I don't know, and so there are no real plans to do it. So no retro setup on the hackers event, and I don't gonna do it on my own because it's way too much work on my own, and then I really have to be the whole event with the retro computers, and I don't have an event for myself. If I do it like in a group of people, then it's doable, but not for this hackers camp. Kuntel Kos asks, when will you marry? Probably I don't gonna marry, because if you have a wife, they gonna kick out all your old computers. So all the guys that have old computers, don't marry, because your wife will destroy your hobby. Brian Buckley asks, Victor, what's your favorite beer? Better yet, what's your favorite American beer, if you have one? I didn't know that American beer was a thing. I really like the Belgium special beers like La Chouffée or Leffe or beer like that. Carambo81 asks, what's your first computer experience and what computers did you own in the past? Okay, we started with the Commodore 64, then we had an Amstrad XT, then we had a 286 together with my brother. All the systems were together with my brother. Then I had an XT on my own, that was my first computer. Then I built it into a 286, then I built it into a 486 SLC25, then I built it into a 486 DX266, then I went to a Pentium 100, then I upgraded to a Pentium 166, then I bought my first new computer, the Pentium 3 450 in 1999. And that is in short all the computers I used as my main computer in the 90s. Uberim asks, would you be interested in starting up a retro LAN party or an event where like-minded people can meet up with their retro machines and discuss and play games? Yes, I really want to start a retro LAN party, but it will be probably just for in the Netherlands, or maybe in the Netherlands with some people from Belgium or Germany. But you can always start your own retro LAN party in your local area and ask on Retro Machines on Facebook if people want to join you. And I also want to know what got you into retro machines. I really want to enjoy the old games that I played as a kid on real hardware. So I started to build old computers again, and now I have many old computers. And can you show us where you tinker with all your retro computers and where you edit your videos for YouTube? I'm probably gonna do a studio tour video someday. DOS Gamer asks, when are we going to play DOS games against Victor? DOS Gamer, I think we need to find some games with no modem support, so we can multiplayer with our DOS systems together. Lucas Crenshey asks, how many machines / parts have you accidentally destroyed? The first machine I destroyed was the Commodore 64 because I put a power plug in the video out port, and my brother still hates me for that. Also, my first XT I also destroyed because I found a program that was saying about jumper settings, and then I was switching with jumpers and it didn't turn on again. And after 1.5 years of usage, I shorted out my Asus P3BF motherboard in 2000. That was not funny because I had to buy a new motherboard for 350 guilders. RTP SEV asks, could you perform a test of the max hard disk capacity supported by each CPU generation? I don't gonna do that video because it's way too complicated, and it's not the CPU generation but more the BIOS generation that matters for that. So don't expect me to figure that out because it's way too much work. Ryan Ashford asks, how many machines do you have currently and where do you have them stored? In one of my early vlogs I showed how many systems I had at that moment, and that was and I think in that video I had 9 systems, and I think I now have 12 systems. I think half of the systems are at my home and the other half are by Awesome Retro in Utrecht, and they are set up in a network so people can play games on them together. Jack from Hardware Hackers asks, what's your all-time favorite graphics card and why? I think it's a Matrox G400 Max video card because it is a really good video card to play games on, and it was the first video card to have dual head support. And Matrox is a really high quality brand. And the last question comes from Andre Capana Meratica. Is there something you don't like about your personality? What I don't like about my personality is that I can really be an asshole sometimes. But I try not to, but it happens. So thank you for all the questions. I hope you have the answers you wanted to hear. Thanks for watching. Please like and share this video, subscribe and leave a comment. Join Retro Machines on Facebook, and you can support me on Patreon. See you next time.